Hey YouTube. So I think one of the best whitewater expedition kayaks out there for whitewater kayaking is the Liquid Logic Stinger XP. 12.5 feet long, it's super fast, very nimble, very sporty to paddle, just an absolute pleasure on the river, very comfortable. Frankly, I've paddled some other Liquid Logics, and the Stinger and the Stinger XP are hands down my favorite. It's got the camping hatch that opens up in the back. It's got a retractable skeg, tons of storage, super fast, and it's as fun to paddle as just about any boat I've paddled. So highly recommend it if you don't have one and you're looking to get into whitewater expedition multi-day trips, because this is just dream made for multi-day trips. But if you are paddling in the United States on western rivers, there's a lot of regulations. And one of those is leave no trace. And part of what goes with that is leave no trace when it comes to human waste. So you end up having to pack it in, pack it out. All human waste has to come back out with you, solid human waste that is. And to do that, you use what is called a groover. If you're on a kayak self-support trip, you're going to be carrying your individual groover for your individual waste in your kayak. So what that really looks like is a PVC pipe. This is a 6-inch PVC pipe with a cap glued on one end and a screw-off lid on the other. And you're not actually going to the bathroom physically in that groover. You're actually using a wag bag, which is specially designed to safely decompose human waste. And that wag bag goes in here sealed. It's not in the actual groover itself. So anyway, that's a whole different video. You can see this is my groover here. I've used it on a couple of trips at this point. 6-inch PVC cut to about 17 inches long. It's got a cap glued at the end and a screwed off lid at the top. But the question is how to carry this in a good and cost-effective way. There's a factory full-length foam bulkhead that goes down the length of the bow. Most people who are doing expedition trips take that out, and there's no forward bulkhead at all. You stuff the bow full of gear, and I'm 6 foot tall, and with the seat in the middle position, I've got 3 feet of space in front of my feet to put gear. Here is a super easy way to carry your groover, and I've fabricated this using, these are about $3 or $4 from your big box, Walmart, something like that. This is just a athletic yoga block. You can see it's really pretty hard foam. It's Minicell foam, just like you would use for hip shims and all that, but it's instead of going to a boating store and paying a bunch of money for it, you can get these for about $3 or $4, and probably 3 by 6 by 9, I think it is, somewhere in that neighborhood. So anyway, what I've done with my groover is I've fabricated it so that it will sit in the forward column. There's no bulkhead forward of the footrest there, the foot plate there, but what you do have is I fabricate a forward column that's forward of that, so that when I want to get to storage, all I have to do is take this out, which acts as my center column, take the foot bulkhead out, and then I've got all the storage space up there available for storage. And this actually gives me a pretty solid bulkhead that will go all the way from the bottom of the boat all the way to the top of the boat. Super easy to fabricate. I've got 2 pieces of foam here, so if you're going to do this in yours, you're going to get 2 of these athletic yoga blocks from the sporting goods section of your big block store for $3 or $4. And you're going to use 2 pieces. This is kind of an L-shaped piece right here that I've fabricated, and this shortened cut down piece of the L is going to go in your seat track, forward of the seat track, kind of where you typically would put your water drink in and throw bag and all of that. And this part goes all the way down to the bottom of the boat itself. So it's giving you positive connection right there on the seat track and the bottom of the boat. And then this piece is cut to fit this little divot right here that you can see from by this boat. This section right here, these things are almost custom fit to go right in here. So you can actually, this little part right here in this boat, you're going to cut this to fit to go in there. And so what that's going to do is give you a solid connection from the bottom of the boat to the top of the boat, and putting it in a place that otherwise is going to be dead space in your kayak, right? So otherwise this is, you know, you're going to be taking up valuable storage space, and this allows you to put it right there where it stays out of the way. So you just get the 3M spray adhesive, put it on here, put it on there, and what I've done is I've put 2 cam straps on there. They're not necessary. These are actually pretty cheap cam straps. I don't really trust them to strap my boats and drive a long distance with them, but I had them laying around, and frankly I just put it on there initially just to help the glue set. And then I realized, you know what, if you're out in the backcountry, sometimes back bands break, straps break, you may need something. So I've actually left this on for the last 2 trips just to have extra straps should we need it for anything. You know, you never know when you may need something if you're 100 miles from a road. So I just leave them there. They don't really add any weight, and instead of cutting them short, these are 15 footers. These are 10 footers. I just wrap them around the bottom, and that way, should we need something, we've got that strapping. So for the cost of about $8, you can, well, plus the can of spray adhesive, so for about $10, you can fabricate your groover to be a solid connection point from the bottom of your boat all the way to the top of your deck here, and give you plenty of structural rigidity while at the same time giving you a great place to store your groover that otherwise would be in your way for your day-to-day paddling. And if you're doing something like a Grand Canyon trip where you're renting a boat and you're going to be getting a boat, and typically the rental boats on the Grand Canyon that are the Stinger XPs have the columns completely removed, but you're going to have a groover. So let's say you show up and you've got a rental boat, but you got to figure out something to do with your groover. Go run to Walmart, grab a couple of these, glue it up, and you can fabricate this to fit your boat in about 20-30 minutes. Let the glue set for a while, and you're off to the races the next day. No problem. So super easy to do. And as far as groovers go, a lot of people they'll get a cap like this with the screw-on lid. Those are pretty expensive. Those are pretty heavy as well. These screw-on caps that our friend Mike made us aware of are just absolutely perfect. They're a compression fitting. They're watertight. You screw them down, it squeezes these 2 pieces of plastic together, which pushes out the rubber gasket. These screw-on fittings are, I think, a lot easier because the other ones with the screw-on lids, you have to carry a tool or fabricate a tool to open those up. They're bigger, they're bulkier, they're heavier. This costs a little less when you put the other 2 pieces of the traditional lids together. This costs the same or maybe a little bit less. But more importantly, you don't have to carry any tool. You don't have to worry about losing the tool. Keeps things nice and orderly in the inside of your cockpit, and they are watertight, work really good. It's just 2 pieces of plastic. You tighten down the screw, it compresses the 2 pieces, pushes out the rubber gasket, and then it creates a watertight seal, and you're good to go. And then once you're in there, you can carry your toilet paper, your wag bags, whatever you want. And then what we've done is fabricate a foam divider that goes in there, and this is, you can literally see, I just went and got a cheap closed cell foam camping mat, $10 or whatever it was, $20, and then cut 2 circles, glued them together, punched a hole, tied a rope through it with a couple of washers. And this way, when you're using it, you can put your used wag bags at the bottom, put this foam divider all the way in there, and then whatever you're storing in your wag bag, whether it's extra wag bags that haven't been used yet, toilet paper, sanitary stuff, whatever, you can put that in there and then keep everything nice and neat and separated. So it's your groover. It's a good way to do it. So here you can see the groover is fully installed. It is done, put in place. You can see how this foam goes all the way up to the top, and then it stays in the track here. You can get the camera here. You can see how it basically sits in the track, and then once the track, between the bulkhead and the track, it goes down to the bottom of the boat, and it stays solidly in place. Doesn't interfere with anything. You can actually put your water bottle right there, and I'll actually put a bungee cord around the actual groover pipe, and resting right on top right here, I will put a small throw bag. So I can still carry a throw bag and a water bottle. Keep everything there just like I would on a normal day trip. So hope that helps. It's a great way to carry this in this boat.